Hello, 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 and good morning. Welcome. We are here today for our branding, our marketing, branding, and getting the sale. I was like, I haven't done this for a couple of weeks because I've been off with COVID. I'm like, oh, what do I normally say when I open again? Our topic today is all about sustainability and impacting the world as a business owner. So we got a little bit of background noise. I think that might be coming from you, Jess. If you wouldn't mind muting when you're not speaking. We will get into intros. Yes, I think that must be it. So thank you for that. Right, we'll quickly get into some intros first. We have a special guest with us, Daniel. We will come to you in a moment, Daniel. Stephen, if we go to you first, then Jess, then Daniel, and then myself. Over to you, Jess.
Morning, everyone. Do let me know if background noise still happens because I'm using a different machine today. So yeah, I want to make sure that's running right. So yeah, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jess. I work with businesses to not only stand them out from the competition and everyone else in the market, but actually get customers and get sales from it. You know, it's all well and good people noticing your brand and noticing who you are, but if they're not compelled or triggered to take any action, there's no point in it anyway. So that's what I do with my clients. I have a 6-step brand loyalty process that I work on them with to do this. So if you're intrigued in them steps, you want to see how that works, drop me a message and I'll send you a link to a quick video that explains each step.
You're on mute, Una.
Stephen, over to you.
Good, thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name's Stephen Lerman. I own a company called Chameleon BDS. We are outsourced business development, appointment setting, and cold calling. So if you are, if you don't like making cold calls, if you don't have the resource or just don't have the time or anything like that, then you can outsource that to me and my team, and we will take on those calls and make those appointments and get you in front of more people. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Stephen. Daniel.
Morning, everyone. Dan Fisher. I run a company called Swift Website Builder, which is exactly what it says on the tin. We allow you to go online and build your own website via our platform. Nice and easy. That's what we do.
Fabulous, thank you. And if you haven't met me before, my name is Una Doyle. My business is Creative Flow, and I can help any established business to find an extra 50k in only 50 minutes. If you want to know how, DM me or comment below, and I will send you a video showing you precisely how we're able to do that and how you can do it too. Okay, so on to our topic of the day. It's all about sustainability and impacting the world as a business owner. And this is a topic that's really, really close to my heart. I've built in making an impact into my business, and it's something that we can all do in whatever way we choose. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And I think it's something that I think it's easy for people to think that, oh, in order for me to give back, in order for me to make an impact, I have to be a multimillionaire and I set up a foundation and things like that. And in the personal development world, sorry, I'm getting background noise. I think maybe somebody's phone is going. If you wouldn't mind turning that off. So yeah, we don't have to wait until that. And in fact, the organization that I do my giving back through, B1G1, was founded by a lady who she had thought this, and then she realized, no, I can actually do things now. I don't have to wait. And so she actually started off the organization B1G1, which was originally Buy One, Give One, because she ran a ready meal manufacturing company. And she started giving a meal away to the poor for every meal that was sold. And so she built it into her business and then ended up creating this, philanthropic organization called b1g1.com. And so, we don't have to wait. We can do it now in whatever way we choose. So before I kind of go more into that and how I've done that, Dan, I'd love to hear from you in, what you've done and how you've made it work for you.
Yeah, so with us, we were looking at kind of different ways to give back and how we could kind of help fund climate positive kind of activities. And we looked at many different partners. We looked at even planting trees in the UK, but we ended up teaming up with a company called Ecology. They're a non-profit organization that founded in 2018, but over the last 2 years have grown exponentially, funding projects across the world. And essentially what we do on that is each company or each website that launches on our platform, we actually plant trees and fund climate positive projects, not only just on the platform, because we have an agency as well. So whenever we work with anyone on the agency side, we also kind of fund projects. And then now and again, I'll just top that up whenever I feel like adding a few more or kind of planting a few more trees. So yeah, it's anything from obviously the planting trees, which obviously they don't really make a massive impact until they're 7 years old anyway. So they fund like climate projects such as like hydrogen gas, solar panels, solar energy, all that type of stuff. So there's lots of different ways of doing it throughout the world. So that's how we kind of do that now. So we're just shy of 5,000 trees planted, which is great. We want to be hitting 10,000 by the end of this year, and then just keep going from there, really.
Fantastic. And it's brilliant when you can see that measurable impact as well, isn't it?
And that's what we were looking for. It was that measurability, because obviously if we didn't have that, we wouldn't know what impact we'd be making. And it's like people such as Ecology are making that so easy for people now that you can actually see the impact and actually say, actually, we are making the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's also actually, I'll come back to you. I want to talk to you about your clients and how they feel and what the response has been. So I'll come back to you on that. But before I do that, I just want to go to Jess and Stephen and see, have you thought about doing anything like this? Are you doing anything like this? Jess, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, I've been doing stuff like this from different angles. So within the business, I've also been planting trees and supporting land for habitats as well as the environment and things like that. Personally, I also have contributed towards Support Dogs UK, Guide Dogs UK, charities like that are really close to my heart as well. I'm looking to do more, like you were saying, Dan, whenever you feel like that, okay, I want to do a little bit more, I want to put a little bit more in. I've been thinking, how else can I do that? So I'm now starting to volunteer my time for a children's charity, which hopefully will, start happening quite soon. So that's something else that I'm hoping to give back as well. I'm also part of a BNI group, and as we all are here, but our BNI group supports Pendleside Hospice. And this year we're supporting the Corporate Challenge, which will help us be able to raise loads of money for local charities as well for Pendleside. So I kind of do look at it from different angles. How else can I contribute as well as just money, and to who? It's great contributing globally and nationwide, but how can I support locally as well? So yeah. That's what I'd say.
Cool. Good stuff, Jess. What about you, Stephen?
So obviously I like to try and do my little bit for the planet, and as a 1 or 2, 3 man band, it's quite difficult I think to make that a huge impact on my own. So what I've done is I started talking to a company called Positive Planet that do reducing carbon emissions and talk about sustainability. And due to the nature of my business, I'm able to talk to so many different people that I kind of just slip it into the conversation. So even if I'm not able to do anything for them personally, I have that many conversations. I always talk about the different things that I come across on a daily basis. So for me, as much as I can recycle and use LED light bulbs and reduce my printing output, I find that by talking to other companies about these types of organizations, I'm doing as much as I can. And and also I do use a gas and electricity supplier that does plant trees for when you sign up to using their services. So I try to do what I can, but I think it's about having those conversations and talking to people on a wider scale, because you just don't know who people know or what they're about or where those conversations can lead. So, and as you all know, I love to talk, so it's just spreading the word, really. So I try to do my bit as much as I can.
Oh, you're muting it. But as well, I think it's great, Stephen, that you mentioned that you are with this company, utilities company, because they give back to the environment as well. And obviously that's what we're going to go into a little bit today, but how you can, find a company or find someone to work with, collaborate or buy from that shares their values as well.
Absolutely. And let's make sure that we all, I hope I got that right. Was it Positive Planet you mentioned, Stephen? Yeah, good. So yes, we've got B1G1 Ecology, Positive Planet. Jess, if you want to pop your things in the comments as well, so that we can share these resources for people to find. And isn't it interesting? Like, we've got 4 people here, and we're all doing different things, and through different organizations. And whether it's that you're tying in, and I think this is one of the interesting things, actually. And I do have an ebook actually written by excuse me, Paul Dunn and Mike, who are involved in B1G1. Paul is one of the co-founders, actually, and they created an ebook to show you how to integrate your giving into your business, because I think a lot of the time people feel, well, where do I start? How do I even do this? And it's great because, yes, you can do it through B1G1, but you can take those principles and apply it with any organization, really. So I want to talk now about the, what has been what's been the impact for you, Dan, in terms of your clients? Do you feel that this has impacted your sales or your relationship with your clients? Like, tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so to be honest, whenever we mention it kind of in the sales process or even after, some people don't even notice it in the sales process, even though we mention it, that type of thing. But everyone's really positive. We've definitely kind of gotten more sales from it. I think it's just more of the understanding that people are like, oh, these guys are actually not just a faceless organization. They want to help local communities. Because as Jess did, we help like local communities where like the Fair Share scheme where we help feed local families and stuff like that. But obviously the ecology stuff's worldwide. But as soon as we mention that, as soon as you come on a platform, we plant trees and fund climate positive projects, they absolutely love it. So we've definitely had an increase in sales. And I think it humanizes us as a company. And again, it builds that relationship straight away with them. So I think we are closer to like the clients that we've got. And it's great because when we actually plant stuff on the ecology, we can actually send them a link to show them what we've planted and where they are and what the forest it's in and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's a good interaction. So we literally send them a link, they click the link, they go through, they can see it online. You can actually see the progress of the forest, etc., throughout time as well. So it's a nice little thing that we can do with clients there.
Love it. You know, and it's really interesting because I think it's that thing about connecting the purchase with the giving. So I think when companies say, you know, and they'll have some kind of CSR, you know, corporate social responsibility page, particularly with larger companies, and they'll say, oh, we give back to this company and we give back to this organization, and you know, and maybe they have fundraising events and things like that, but there isn't necessarily a connection for the client to that, for them to feel, oh, as a result of me purchasing X, Y has happened. Right? And I think that's a really important element in the giving back from a connection and business point of view. So that's one of the things that I love. B1G1 is like, it's like Amazon for good. So there are lots of, and it's all built around the global goals, the Sustainable Development Global Goals created by the UN, and so you can choose which of those global goals are most aligned with you, your business, your team members, you know, getting your team involved and choosing which kind of projects that you know, give back to as well can be really empowering for them. Like, you know, I've had that with my team, and they get really excited. You know, they're kind of like, oh, well, what if we did this, you know, when I'm putting together a new offer, and then we go, okay, so what giving are we going to associate with this offer? Now, I for me, because I'm a business coach, I love to help businesses grow. So I often actually veer towards more the income generating ones, which are helping people to get out of poverty. But some of them actually are income generating and environmentally friendly, which I really love. So so we can plant trees through that, but there's also one which is giving business support to beekeepers in Kenya, and I love that project. So we do that sometimes. I also use select projects, like there's a few ones that have microfinancing where they will work with a group of women and help them to create businesses, and it just changes whole communities when they do this. And they actually, it's amazing, they have a 98% repayment rate. So the money that's given to those projects actually gets recycled 45 times. Isn't that amazing? You know, like that money just works over and over and over again, going through community by community by community, working with a group of women to help them all set up their own individual businesses. But they work together and help each other out, and they get, you know, literacy and business training with that. There's another project I love, which is teaching women in India to sew. And also there's another one that provides them with the materials, not the fabric materials, but I mean like sewing machines and things, the equipment that they need. And I love that because I sew as a hobby. So it kind of really resonates with me, and it's income generating and it's creative. So, you know, it just ticks a load of boxes for me. And it was really interesting. I was, you know, kind of in reviewing my own business positioning and, you know, the impact and everything recently, that's when I realized, oh wow, I keep going towards these projects that are to do with income generation, and that actually connected with me on a deeper level, because I was saying, well, why is that? And, you know, apart from me being a business coach, but I realized, you know, I remember my mum when she was growing up, like she was one of 7 children. She grew up in a very poor part of Ireland. You know, like when she was a child, you know, it was kind of, you know, post-war, and you know, there was not a lot around. There wasn't a lot of work around. Like all the men would have been kind of, you know, leaned against the walls, smoking their cigarettes and reading the papers because they'd no work to go to. And I remember her saying that she's no idea how her mum put food on the table sometimes. And, you know, I couldn't help as a child but to kind of acquire some of the poverty mentality that she had, and it's taken a lot of work for me to let go of that. And I think that's why it's actually really connected with me to give back to these kinds of projects. So one thing I would really urge business owners to do is to look at, well, where's that connection with you? You know, what has a deeper meaning for you? And I think as kind of small and medium-sized business owners, we can do that. You know, we're not big corporates where there's loads of people involved. We're the ones who can drive that giving and make sure that it really connects. Because if it connects with us, then it's not a kind of greenwashing or, you know, oh, we're doing this because we're supposed to. We're doing it because we actually care, and it makes a difference. And if we get excited by it and it's congruent with who we are, then I think our clients are going to feel that. But what do you think?
I love the looking inwards of where, because like you just said, there's 4 of us here and there's countless things that we're all supporting in different ways. And if you're watching thinking, okay, well, what can I do? Yeah, children's charity sounds good, but yeah, they're planting trees and being able to track that journey sounds amazing. Like, where do I go? And you can't, everyone wants, well, I know I want to do so much. I want to do so much more than I'm doing now, but I've got to work at it and then do it step by step. But really checking in inward and thinking, right, okay, what's my culture? What are my values? What am I about? How am I impacting my clients? How can I impact that in a different way? And thinking about it that way will really kind of, like you said, it'll just happen. You'll just think, oh my God, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I'm passionate about it. So I'll remember to shout about it and involve my clients and customers. I think that what you use, Dan, is a really, really good tool because it involves the clients. Whereas a lot of the time, you as a client, you don't know, do you? You don't know these things are going on. And you can get a certificate, which are great. It was, you know, it comes in the post. You think, oh, that's amazing. But again, what's the impact of that? What's after that? So yeah, looking inwards and checking in. And even if you do have a team, if you've got a handful of people or 50 people or 100 people, asking people within your company as well, you know, getting people together and going, okay, what do you guys support? You know, maybe let's put everything in a hat and decide between us, you know, what charity we're supporting this year. Maybe change it every year if you want to impact so many different ones. So there's so many different angles to do it at. But I love that story. You know, it's a really good one.
I agree with what you're saying. You know, you've all heard of the saying, charity begins at home, haven't you? Yeah. And it's the same when it comes to if you're passionate about something, you're truly passionate about something and you believe in it, then you have no problem talking about it and sharing your stories with your clients, with your friends, you know, without being a zealot and going overboard. You can drop it into conversations. And I think it makes you more personable, more real, more grounded. So when you talk to other people and they can feel connected to you, it can only have a positive impact. And you share your thoughts and your feelings and the bits that you want to do, that you can do, that you're able to do, that don't cost the earth, but will have a positive impact. I think that can only benefit everybody. So it truly starts from what's in here, and then it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling. You can only do what you can do. You know, massive organizations and corporations have thousands of, you know, to donate. We as small businesses can do our little bit, whether it's going digital, working from home, cycling to work, recycling. I think those stories that we share with our clients and our colleagues have more of an impact. And the things that are close to your heart, you really do feel passionate about, those are the ones that I think will touch the deepest.
Absolutely. And I think I was actually sat here realizing I don't talk about this enough. So I know that I do have it on some sales pages, but then with my sales process, a lot of the time clients don't even see those necessarily. We have conversations and they buy from me. So it's probably something that I need to talk about more in my social media, in my newsletters and things like that. So I must make sure to do that this week. And actually even I know I've not been as good as, and we're kind of reviewing all our processes at the moment. And one of those processes I definitely want us to get better at is communicating with our clients about what we have given on their behalf. Because sometimes, we've given stuff on their behalf and actually they don't really know about it. Because it's not, one of the things I love about B1G1 is when an invoice, when certain invoices happen, it triggers the giving into our B1G1 cart. So like I said, it's like Amazon for Good. You go on there and you pick what projects you want, you add them to the cart. So we got a comment here from Michael. So he's as part of printing.com. We were able to plant trees. So between 2017 and 18, 90,000 trees were planted in the UK with the David Bellamy Tree Peel. Well done. That's great. Good to hear, Michael. So yeah, and he's also saying he's not talking about it enough. Well, you're talking about it now. So that's good. So you can tag a few people here, and then they'll get to hear about this too. So Dan, back to you. I want to, we've been talking about the kind of the connection part and the client part. I know you said that you think this definitely helped you to increase sales. What else do you feel is significant about building this into your business? What have been the unintended consequences of it?
To be honest, but funny enough, we've had when we post new jobs out, new positions, you have to get a lot more people applying because they're looking at it going, look, you sign a company I want to work for, you do this, but you also look after the environment. You are aware of what's going on. And I think that's a great thing for us as well, because people line up to work for us, not only because obviously they want to work for the company, but because of what the impact the company has on kind of the planet and locally. And I think that's a really good thing. And it all goes back to that faceless organization. When obviously we're there to make money because that's what makes the world go round as well. But whilst we're doing it, we don't want to cost the earth. We want to help and make a positive impact on the world as well. And that was why I initially started. All my friends are probably going to think I'm going to turn into a hippie tree hugger at some point. But
what's wrong with that?
That's it, exactly. And again, it's one of those where I think Stephen mentioned before, we're not massive organizations, but if all the smaller organizations and larger organizations did a little bit, that's the massive impact. We only need 10% of the world to do something to reverse it. And that's it. But yeah, we've had a lot of positivity, and again, a lot of positive press, really, isn't it? So it does help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's really interesting. And I've got someone who is quite close to me, is currently job hunting at the moment, and they're looking on Glassdoor for reviews. They're looking at what meaning the company has, and all of those things. So I think it does definitely make a difference as part of your employer brand, to be seen, to be doing good, not just to be seen to be doing good, but to actually be doing good. And Stephen, I really like what you were saying as well about, I probably use the same supplier as you in terms of the light bulbs and, just the recycling. This here is my recycling box where all the paper goes in, and then we use that. I often use it for pattern alterations when I'm doing my sewing, and or if we have to write notes or anything. So yeah, it's like the recycling is happening. There are lots of ways that we can all make an impact. It doesn't, for someone who's maybe starting out, and they might not like the way B1G1 works is I pay a membership that covers all the admin costs, and then every penny we donate that we give actually goes directly to the project. So but a startup company, they might not be able to afford. It's not a huge amount, but that still might be too much for them. But what we can all do is we can have our little ways of being more sustainable and making an impact. And we can always give our time. That's one of the most precious things as well.
And,
sure.
And Una, on that as well, I think people don't realise kind of it's a lot cheaper as well than people may think.
You're absolutely right there, Dan. And I think what we need to move away from is the apathy. Oh, somebody else will do that. Somebody else will take care of that. And like you said, Dan, if all the little companies, smaller organizations, and 10% of the companies, was it 10% of the world or 10%?
10% of the people in the world, 10% of the companies in the world. Yeah,
we all have to do and all have to take a little bit more responsibility, and that's all it is. So, and it's all about being mindful about what you print, turning your lights off. I mean, at work, it's the simple things. It's turning your lights off, using LED energy saving light bulbs. Do I really need to go to the office today, or can I work from home? So you're not driving in the car, you're not emitting noxious gases. It's the simple things. It's being mindful, which we have to do on a daily basis anyway. So it's just one more practice. But if we get into that habit of doing those things, it becomes normal, it becomes regular, and it becomes part of our everyday life. And without thinking about it, we're doing it. And if everybody does that, then like you say, we can reverse the damage that's being done.
No, exactly. And it's smaller things. I said then it's small little things like I'm completely plant-based myself, but I have friends who are full meat eaters, but they do like meatless Mondays and stuff like that. And it's just those little bits that help.
Plant-based with you 100%.
There we go. But yeah,
the vegans are taking over the world.
That's it. It's those meatless Mondays that they do now, and they're like, "Oh, actually, I've realised that there's a lot of options." And I'm like, "Yeah, we don't just eat grass."
Well, you should hit us up. I get. Are you having for lunch today? Cardboard? No, but there's so much stuff that goes into producing meat. That by, like you said, just doing that little bit. So meatless Mondays, one less day. Even supermarkets are integrating more vegetables into their traditional meat products, so that less work is being done, less harmful gases or anything like that is going into production of food. So everyone's trying to do it. We just all need to do that little bit more, and it's not difficult, really.
And even on ecology, the way that we work in ecology is like in simple. We have like a monthly subscription that covers the business and all the staff. So that makes sure that we're a climate positive business. But then obviously every time that we then can go and fund, so people can do it themselves. They can sign up for a little subscription, which is a couple of pounds a month. And that just covers then they'll plant trees each month and fund projects. But because they're funding it around the world, they're helping kind of like people in Madagascar who are poverty ridden. And again, in Kenya, they're planting fruit trees. So again, they're not just planting trees, they're actually planting food for the local environments there. Obviously, it'll take a few years to grow, but it's doing multiple things where people can get started from a couple of pounds a month. And that's absolutely nothing. It's just that one Starbucks less.
Exactly.
Or that one Big Mac from McDonald's less a month, and you can make a massive impact, and people just don't realize that.
I think this is really what I want people to take away from this is number one, look at what makes your heart sing, what do you get excited about, what has meaning for you, and then look at just the little things that you can do, so we can all do things to help reduce the impacts of climate change. And then in terms of actually giving back, whether that's through volunteering and or actually giving money, there are easy ways that you can tie things in, and as you say, it doesn't cost the earth, as you say. So it doesn't have to, cost a lot from your profits in order to do this. Yet you can actually make a big difference, and it will make a difference for your business. So this is the other thing that I want to talk about is, the growing number of people. Like if you ask, most younger people, and I think it's like, it's not just younger people as well, but people like to have that sense of connection. They want to buy from companies that are doing meaningful things. So if you can build that into your company, and at the very least offset any damage that your company may be doing, just by existing, by you going to meetings, any of those kinds of things, you can offset your carbon emissions, as well as then looking at how you can contribute, in any bigger ways as well. It's going to get you more customers. Like if you've got two coffee shops next to each other, and they'll both have those kind of blackboard things outside, and one of them says, for every coffee, we give water, in Africa, or we, whatever it might be a local charity or something. But and the other one doesn't say that. Like, which one are you going to go to? It's a bit of a no-brainer, really. All other things being equal, you're going to go for the one that has more meaning for you. So I think it's really important that, for the sustainability of your business as well as the sustainability of the planet, I think this is actually a really smart thing to do.
I think that's a really good point as well about as consumers, even us as consumers, but all consumers want more from our brands now. It's not, a discount or, not having that connection might get these one-off sales, but to have repeat loyal, lifelong loyal customers, we have to have that connection with them that's more than transactional. So there's probably plenty of brands that we use that our parents used, that our mum used, and we're naturally drawn to them because they have that sentimental value. Once you have lifelong clients or customers that are like that, it's going to go down in generations if your business is around long enough. So building these strong relationships, it can really, really make your business, it can grow your business. And as consumers, we want a lot more, especially after the last couple of years when the pandemic hit, the whole world changed instantly. We turned to the brands around us for community, for advice, for insights. We wanted more, and that's only going to get more apparent as time goes on. Doing these sort of things that we're talking about today just helps build that relationship, doesn't it? Just that little bit at a time.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, look, I think we've covered a lot today. Is anything that we've missed out, Daniel, that you've not talked about yet that you wanted to share?
No, that covers everything really. Just looking at obviously how easy it is for people to kind of get involved. So as you mentioned before, any of those that you posted about B1, G1, ecology, positive planet, they're all there to help make a difference. And that nice, Absolutely. And it's so easy to do now. And a lot of people think you're going to have to go out into the forest and plant the trees yourself, and that's just not the case. Again, we can be armchair supporters, but at least we're making an impact.
Absolutely. I think it just takes a little bit of thought and planning, and you'll get the return. Like there'll be a return on investment for you, in terms of additional clients or keeping clients longer because you've made that emotional connection with them. So and just it means we can all sleep at night.
Exactly. We have clients who do it now as well. So because we're on there doing it, they go, oh, actually, we want to do that as well. So they're now on there. So kind of there's a long string now that we do it, they're doing it, then their customers are now funding planting trees. It's just going to continue going, which is great.
Absolutely. Listen, I do have something I want. When you're watching this right now, please tag 3 people that that you think might give a toss into the comments, so they can watch this and they can go, oh, okay, how can I do this? Or maybe people who are already doing it, and they can share their resources as well, because we're all going to be drawn to different ways of giving back, whatever works for us. So please share your resources in the comments. Please share this out as a post as well. With your thoughts on, you can just go, hey, are you kind of being more sustainable in your business? Here's some, ways that you can do that. It's dead easy. Even if you just did that, that's something that you've done this week that will make a difference, because who knows who's going to see this and take action as a result that they might never have done otherwise.
Even if you can't do anything yourself, the more you talk about it, the more the message gets out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that can have just as big of an impact as doing something yourself.
Absolutely. And the other thing, even if there isn't, you're not in a position to be giving a percentage of your profits away yet. I mean, number one, it can be a very small percentage. You can do a lot with a small amount of money. You'd be amazed what the impact that you can have. But also look at who you're buying from. So if you make better choices as a consumer, who are you buying from in your business? Who are you buying from as a consumer in your own personal life? That makes a difference as well. So that's another way that we can all make an impact. Fabulous. Well, listen, Dan, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been really interesting. It's been great to get to know you and to hear about your business and how you're doing this. And Jess and Stephen, always great to have you here as well. We will be back same time next week. Have a fantastic week until then. Bye for now.
Take care. Bye.
See you later.